What's up, guys? Rhett Harmon. I want to start off by saying I am not a plumber, nor do I ever want to be a plumber. We got people like John Cox that are good at that and several other ones. But anyway, what I'm basically going to try to describe to you guys today is a septic system. We have a lot of clients that move in from other areas. You know, I've always lived here pretty much my whole life in Georgia, and I've always lived in a house that had a septic system. So it's not that big of a deal. It's actually very sanitary, and it's you know, but it's a big myth that they cause a lot of problems and require a lot of maintenance. So you guys have to use your imagination just a little bit here and kind of see what we got. So basically, this pipe here, imagine that there's a house here. Okay, this is your house, and you have a 4-inch pipe typically that runs out of the house. And keep in mind, you know, everything likes to flow downhill, so it's going to be angled with some fall going downhill. This is actually buried beneath the ground. Now, this is actually a plastic septic tank. There's different styles. Some of them are concrete, but for this purposes, we're going to use this tank. This is what we have here at Smith Brothers here in Carrollton. So this is below the ground. This particular tank is designed that you got a lid that's above the surface when you do have to pump it. Some of them are they still buried a little bit depending on how it works. So you've got the inlet right here below ground. Imagine this pipe that I'm tripping over goes into here, and then all the solids and all the water and everything from your house flows into this pipe. SP, come check this out on the inside. I'll show you. I've already kind of taken the screws loose. Take the lid off. So inside this tank here, basically solids and water, everything flows in through here, and it fills up. All the solids sink to the bottom, and there's a kind of a little filter right here. All the water basically comes back up through this pipe. So actually some have a filter, some don't. Then it flows through this, and it lets the water off of the septic system, and then it goes out to the yard and the drain field area. So imagine this too. Here's the pipe that connects onto here and takes all. So this is not the solids, it's just the water basically. The solids stay in the tank. That's why you have to have a tank pumped, you know, every, I don't know, there's different arguments on it. 5 to 8 years is kind of the average, I guess. So basically Rid-X, or you know, an active bacteria lives inside this tank, and it kind of helps basically eats the solids that are in there. So anyway, moving forward, this pipe is connected to this. This is also buried below the ground, and it connects into this pipe, and I actually get the name of it. It's called a biodiffuser. So depending on the size of the house when it was built, and it's based off bedrooms, depends on how many gallon tank that you have to have and how many feet of this fill line. So a lot of times you look at when were the fill lines replaced. So you kind of come in here and check this out. This is designed that all the water flows through here. And this is water from your washing machine, from showers, from your toilet, everything. But the sides of it are basically little vents. And there's gravel that goes around this stuff too. So when the water goes underneath here, this pipe, you know, dumps all the water in. It's able to then be absorbed into the ground, and that's just how it works. You really don't even notice it's there. Definitely don't want to drive over your fill line. So going down through here, imagine this could go out several hundred feet potentially. Depending on your shape of your yard, there are these little contraptions here that it can either come off to the side, or it could come back up a few feet over, or a few feet over like this on this side. You know, pipes connected, or you know, it could go up, you know, different areas, but it connects here, runs out, and it could go in another direction. So if your yard was shaped smaller, it might make it go this way. It could go the other direction. And basically kind of see how this works. They're connected on together. So when all the water flows in, it has plenty of room to keep going, and all that, it continues to slope downhill so that it works out. So this is the basic design of what a septic system is. Now, a couple of pointers that I've learned from some plumbers over the years. Raymond Turner is a good friend of mine, and he saved us a lot of times when it comes down to doing some septic tank type work. But he said one of the worst things that you can do is put grease inside your septic system. That's basically as simple as you cooked you know, hamburgers or whatever, or you cooked you know, ground beef to make spaghetti, and then you go pour that down the sink. That's putting grease into your septic system. That's horrible for it. It clogs up the insides of the pipes. It's kind of like it clogs up your arteries, but once all that stuff is in there, then you gotta have somebody come clean all that out, and it causes you know, a service call, and could, you know, damage your system. Plus, the grease is really not good for the active bacteria that's inside your septic tank. The other thing, believe it or not, that's probably one of the worst things for your septic tank is Tide detergent. The reason is that Tide detergent is one of the best detergents out there. It cleans everything better, but when the Tide detergent goes inside your septic system, it actually kills the active bacteria in there that's needed so that everything works properly. So a couple little quick tips I learned on that. Grease and Tide detergent's bad. And also, feminine products or flushing paper towels or any of those little wipes that they have, they say they're flushable, they're not really good for a septic system. So that's my tip of the day. Hopefully you guys got some knowledge out of this and realize it's not that big of a deal. Septic systems are used all over. Like Carroll County, where we're at right now, has no sewer system for the entire county. Now the cities inside the county have sewer systems, like the city of Carrollton or Villa Rica or Bowden. There's some others, but the county itself does not have septic systems. So you have large commercial buildings, large commercial restaurants that exist in our county here that have septic systems. So it's not that big of a deal. You do have to have a little bit more land for it to make sense, and it does require permitting, but it's nothing to be afraid of. You understand how they work and some maintenance on them. You can have any local plumbing contractor that works on these can come out and give you a certification on how it works. But if you're buying a home and you really want the septic system inspected, or it's required if you're selling your home, the buyer's requiring you to have it inspected, you're better off going ahead and just having it pumped at the same time, because most of the cost is involved with digging it up and making sure that everything's flowing through there correctly. A lot of times when they get to that point, realize it's been a few years anyway, and they're going to recommend pumping it, and that's a whole nother crew to come back out there. So my advice is go ahead and pump it at the same time, and that way it's kind of like changing oil in your car. It's just, it doesn't have to be done that often, but about every 5 to 8 years typically. If you use Tide detergent or put grease in there, you're probably going to have to do it every 2 to 3 years. On average, it's about $400-ish to have a septic system pumped. If you get into having to replace the fill lines later, if it's a very old house, that does require a permit, and that could be more costly. So I know this is a longer video, but I wanted it to be very informational, and don't be afraid of a septic system.